Hey guys, it's Amy. We're going to talk about Fauci and Georgetown because today Georgetown has headlined that Fauci is going to become part of their staff. And if you're new here, guys, everybody in the gematria community knew that today was going to be a big Jesuit order. We knew there was going to be something in the headlines with the Jesuits because they are what most people refer to as the cabal, is the Jesuit order. If you trace it up the ladder, I guess you would say you're going to land at the Jesuit order at the top of the pyramid. So, Anthony Fauci, we all know he was really big during the panty, and he became the face of it, telling everybody to cover their face and go take this, go take that, don't go to work. He became the big bullshitter for us. And today they have done another scripted ritual just like we expected them to. So, if you're new here, today is the 177th day of the year, and that may not mean a lot to most people, but when you learn where the calendar comes from and you understand that it came from the Catholic Church, it was given to us by a pope, and that history repeats because it is scripted around the calendar. And certain days bring certain agendas and certain people to the headlines to play out these rituals to push society in the direction that they want it to go. So during that time, they wanted to push us into a digital identity, seeing how far they could push us. I think it was a test a lot of to see how compliant we would be, kind of like what was done in Germany back in the day. And this is just another one of those sick rituals that is pushing us towards certain directions. So he becomes headline news today, and there's a reason for it. Like I said, today is the 177th day of the year. Let me make this just a tad bigger, guys. So today is the 177th day of the year, and here's our headlines. Now, if you'll notice, he's going to become a faculty member at Georgetown. And most people think of Georgetown and Yale and Harvard, and they just think it's a pristine college. They don't really know that it's actually a Jesuit university. Most people don't even know what a Jesuit is. And a Jesuit is pretty much all the Jewish people that are in politics who claim they love Jesus who do not. And there is a verse in the Bible that states it's for the letter to Philadelphia, and it actually speaks about how there's going to be people that are going to claim that they are of a Jewish faith, but they are not. They are of the synagogue of Satan, for they are liars. And it's in the Bible. Go read it. So this is a Jesuit university, Georgetown. And today's date in numerology does have 75. So that's going to be important here in just a second. So they've announced this in the headlines on Monday on the 177th day of the year. So this chart right here will explain to you why we knew today was going to be a very Jesuit day. We knew there was going to be Jesuit headlines today. So if you'll notice, the Jesuit order is 177 and 69. The mark of the beast is 177 and 69. We get these pairs a lot. New World Order, which is the direction we're pushing to, right, is 177 and 69. Dr. Anthony Fauci is 69 and 75. Just like the date numerology, just like New World Order, the 177 is your date. This is a Jesuit educated person that works within the cabal because that is their group of people. It's not our group of people, it's their group of people. This is the announcement that we get today. Now it's going to get even more sick here in just a second. You're going to crack up when you see this because at this point, I mean, what can we do but laugh? Because the fact that society keeps going along with this bullshit just blows my mind. But so he's actually going to take his position. I'm going to skip down for just a second. So he's actually going to take his position on July 1st, right? Look at this, y'all. We're going to come back to this here in just a second. So he's going to start his position on July 1st, which is 177 days from his birthday. Guys, you can't make this shit up. Like, you cannot make this shit up, y'all. So on the 177th day of the year, when we're expecting some Jesuit headlines, we get Jesuit-educated Fauci saying that he's going to Georgetown and he's going to start his position 177 days before his birthday. How come the gematria community knew that today was going to be a 177 day? We didn't know who it was going to be, but we knew the number was going to show up in the headlines. And here we are. Fauci's going to Georgetown, and he's going to start his position on July 1st, 177 days before his birthday. Couldn't have scripted any better. But let's go back and look at Fauci, and let's just do some reminders here. So they go ahead and tell us in the headlines that after dedicating 54 years to his public service, so we got 54 years of service, COVID was declared on a 54 date numerology. He became known as America's Doctor, and they actually wrote a book about him called Dr. Fauci, How a Boy from Brooklyn Became America's Doctor. You know how he done it? He went to a Jesuit school, became Jesuit educated, became part of a club, and was placed into this position in very scripted rituals, just like what we're seeing today. On the 177th day of the year, he's headline news. He's going to start his position 177 days before his birthday because he's in a really big club and we are not in it, and it is the Jesuit order, and that equals 177. And a lot of people went and took those things. And you have to look right here. The mark of the beast is 177. I'm not here to scare you guys, but if you took it, you might want to think about what we're telling you guys. So he became America's Doctor. Now I wonder why they named him America's Doctor. So America's Doctor is 144 and 234. Mark of the Beast is 144, 234, and 54. So after 54 years of service, Jesuit order is 54. COVID started on a 54 date numerology, which is really what brought him to the headlines. Nobody knew who Fauci was, really, before the COVID. So now Fauci is in a scripted ritual today, too. What's the chances on the 177th day of the year that Georgetown would make this announcement and that his position is actually going to start 177 days before his birthday? And the only difference between this, if you look, the Jesuit order, the mark of the beast, 177.69. If you take the word the off of it, you get the 144 and the 54s and the 234. So you can see how they have coded him, why they wrote this book around him. He's actually the same man who got on TV and laughed right before Trump became president and said, ho, 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 I think we'll see a pandemic during Trump's presidency. He, 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 he. And then what happened? We've seen a pandemic during Trump's presidency. And everybody's like, oh, wow, I don't know how he knew. He knew because it was scripted. Him and Klaus Schwab and all the rest of these fuckers had a damn practice event called Event 201. They had another one called Clade X. It was 666 days before March 11th. Here we are talking about the mark of the beast. In the Bible, it says the mark of the beast is the 666 or whatever it is, 666. I'm not exactly sure how it's exactly worded, but basically tells you the mark of the beast is the 666. And people can't grasp this knowledge. Like they don't, they think that what we're telling them is all lies and conspiracy when it's not. And it can be proven every single day with math. The Jesuit order is the Society of Jesus. Everything COVID was 56, man. If you don't believe it, toilet paper's 56, mind control's 56. Like there's so much 56 with COVID. It was ridiculous. Gavin Newsom equals 56. He got on stage and said that 56% of Californians were going to have COVID in 56 or in 8 weeks. 8 weeks is 56 days. Like the amount of 56s is ridiculous that showed up during COVID. And this is just one more part to the play, man. So even check this out. This is how they do their symbolism. People can't even see this. So remember how I told you they wrote a book about Anthony Fauci? And it was called America's Doctor, and we can see why they called him America's Doctor here. Well, on this book review, look at the ratings. We have 322 ratings. So Skull and Bones are known as the Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death. And we have 322 ratings on this book. This is the symbolism they do, guys. This is what they do. So, going back to how he got famous, right, with this panty, the government declared it on the 11th of March, 113. The Senate voted to end it early on March 29th, 29/3. So what is the chances that once in a lifetime event happens to us, that it just so happens to get named this? It just so happens to start on March 11th, and by golly, they happen to end it on March 29th, a couple of years later. What's the chances? And then you've got this dude talking about he's America's doctor, telling everybody they got to run and take a jab. And he does this, and now he's going to be in Georgetown. This announcement comes on the 177th day of the year. So they announce he's going to Georgetown, and he's going to start that job 177 days before his birthday. What are the chances, guys? What are the chances? So let's look at Georgetown. So if you don't believe me that Georgetown is a very Jesuit school, look, Georgetown, graduate of Jesuit schools. And when you get into his, like if you go on Wikipedia and just read about Fauci, it says he started with Regis High School, which is a competitive Jesuit school. He then goes on to the College of Holy Cross, which is another Jesuit liberal arts college. And this video right here is from Eric 777's page, and we're going to watch it real quick here because I want you guys to see what they're saying here. I hope the sound comes through okay. We're going to try it. If not, it's on Eric 777's page. I'm going to speed it up a little bit just so we won't take so long.
When you're walking into a new situation, there's always that positive anticipation of what are you going to do? How I felt the first time I walked into medical school, the first time I did my internship, or the first time I walked into the NIH. Anticipation of the unknown. The unknown can be frightening sometimes, but the unknown can be exciting. People would always ask, you've been doing this for a half a century, you've been director for 38 years, do you want to continue to do experiments in the lab or run clinical trials? And I said, no. I ask myself,
let me just speed
what do
forward
I
to
have
the
to offer
part that
to society?
he says what he says here.
8 years ago.
38 years ago. We were standing right here.
We were.
Christine?
Friends and loved ones close
Yeah,
by.
I was really excited.
Kind of remember walking in. I remember you standing there. We looked.
Grins Chapel. Wow. You know, it's just as beautiful as it was
38 years ago.
38 years ago. We were standing right here.
We were.
Christine? Chapter in my professional life, in a place that just instinctively feels like home, is really a good feeling.
And it has the values that you grew up with
Yeah.
and learned in all of your Jesuit training, and you'll be able to both celebrate and instill, hopefully in others, the value of public service.
So the perspective that I came to from medicine was always very much involved with the person.
Is that not crazy?
As opposed to the disease that happens
They
to
just
be
put
in
it
the
straight
person.
in your
It really
face,
goes way
man.
back.
They don't even care. Like, they just stick it straight in your face. You know? And right here is pretty much the head of the snake, man. The head of the snake. And look, he's got the 177 and the 69 just like the rest of them. These people are born and bred to be, man. 177 and 69, just like Klaus Schwab. He's the one that, financed and put on the Event 201, which was the exercise for the panty. Happened, then they had Clade X, which came out 666 days before they declared it. Now we've got Fauci on the 177th day of the year going to start a job 177 days before his birthday at the Jesuit school that he was trained at. It's a big club, guys, and we ain't in it. And I hate to say it. I don't hate to say it because the truth is the truth. The only way out of this is with the revolution. Because your colleges, your schools, your healthcare field, your food supply, your government are all tainted and poisonous. There's nothing out here that we can trust at this point. And these people have to be removed from their positions. And we have to get some people into these positions that don't want the chemicals in our food that'll kill us, that don't want our kids educated with crazy shit and indoctrinated with Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue bullshit. And it's going to be a whole lot of people of a whole lot of different colors coming together to stop this, which is why they try to keep us so divided all the time with all these agendas and scripted headlines. This guy makes $480,000 in 1 year. Most people have to work 10 or more years to make that kind of money. And we just keep letting them tax us. We just keep participating in it. Keep participating in it. And they keep giving themselves raises and more money and more bullshit things that they can funnel money through, like, Fauci here. A lot of people don't even realize that he got so many millions of dollars to study dogs and how quickly they would die by a flea bite. So he literally put dogs in cages and was doing some gross experiments on them. This is shit that they put in the movies and then they'll go in and arrest those people. Like, if you're watching CSI on TV and they walk into a house and there's a guy with a dog in a dog cage and it's being ate by fleas and damn near dead, they're going to arrest him. But Fauci, we give him a couple $1,000,000 and say, how long did it take? Write a paper on it. Thank you, Fauci. Here's your $500,000 for the year. What a great job. Our priorities are backwards. And the fact that we are not standing up against this bullshit has me just shaking my head anymore. I know there's a bunch of us out here that don't want to do this anymore. And I know there's a whole lot of people out here that also don't want to do this anymore, that just don't talk about it. But guys, it's time to talk about it. It's time to figure out what we need to do, how we need to do it, and a plan of action to get there. Because until we do that, this right here is going to continue to happen. And the next one's knocking right around the door because, He told us about the first one. He also said there's going to be another one, him and his buddy Bill Gates. They both said it. So do you really think there's not going to be another one? Of course there is. And this next one's going to be way worse because this was just a practice run to see how compliant people were, which sadly, they were scary compliant. I used to wonder how they got all them people on the trains back during the Germany times. And now I can honestly say that probably at least half, if not more, of my own family would have jumped on that train like it wasn't nothing because they're walking around here with those things in their arms, which tells me they would have jumped on a train. I don't know, guys. But I love y'all, and I will catch you on the next one. I'm sure we'll be right back here tomorrow with some more scripted agendas. Y'all take care of yourselves. Have a good night.